Hello guys, Arcand here. I am the darkness in the light, the flower on the wall, and the resplendent nightfall. We're back with Supernova. So we started Mnesis' route on the last one. It didn't have much substance, it was kind of short. So here we'll maybe explore his route more fully now. So let's continue. Before Vince comes to pick me up the next day, I have a brief chat with Unbound, going over what I should tell people when I'm out there again. She seems satisfied with my ability to cover my tracks, so the talk doesn't last long. By the time we're supposed to leave, I'm desperate to be out in the sun again. I'm amused to see that Vince's car is only slightly less shitty than mine. I guess superheroics don't pay well. Vince apologizes about the sorry state of the ride before I can get a single word out. He looks embarrassed about it too, so I assure him it's fine. We're in the large cavern I've glimpsed a couple of times during my stay here, which I now know serves as the garage. Anyway, Mnesis says we're good to go. Did he, I don't know, go and check my dorm room or something? No idea. I mean, he could sneak inside if he wanted to without much trouble. Oh, right, you have a roommate. Maybe not then. Alright. We get in the car and start riding down a narrow tunnel. Vince has pushed his seat almost all the way back. I examine the tunnel as we drive. The rocky walls and ceiling in the cavern suggest we're underground somewhere. I'm proven right as the path slopes upwards and I spot an entrance sliding open for us. We emerge onto a dirt road, and as I glance in the side mirror, I see the entrance close again, leaving a perfectly innocent patch of ground. We're up in Saltsford part. Don't worry, this part is private property, and Gil monitors the entrances. How is this all built? Gil has a lot of bodies. Like robotic ones? Yup. Guess that explains who takes care of the facility. It would be silly to expect the Sentinels to do it, and hiring staff would be out of the question. Nova City glitters in the distance. Saltsford is one of the largest parks in the state. I've hiked here a couple of times. The lush forests are a perfect complement to the sandy beaches to the west. It's not too far from the city either, so the Sentinels could be back there in a short time. Well, the flying ones, at least. Do you usually drive all the way up here? Nope, Mnesis is the only one who does. How do you get around then? Vince grins. I'll show you sometime. We're quiet for a bit. I gaze out the window, appreciating the view of the city. Hey, Vince, I guess I haven't asked. What have you been up to since high school? Besides the Superfang stuff, I mean. The tiger holds the steering wheel with one paw, scratching his cheek with the other. Not much, really. Did pre-med at Nova U. Now I'm taking a year off to shadow some doctors to prep me for med school. The surprise I'm feeling must be showing, because Vince's whiskers twitch and he gives me a nervous glance. What? Nothing, just unexpected, I guess. You were so into theater. I figured you'd go into the arts. Oh, not really. No, not really. My parents didn't want me to. Huh. My own parents weren't thrilled when I decided to major in English, so I get where he's coming from. Did you do any drama stuff in college? No, was too busy. I feel a pang of disappointment. It's cool he's studying to become a doctor, but the tiger was so passionate about theater. I don't think I've seen any other high schooler get into it as much as Vince would whenever we were putting on a show. He almost always got the lead parts too. Honestly, with his looks, he could have become a famous actor. What about you? Still in it? Not quite. I began writing instead, and I was awful at acting anyway. Don't say that, dude. You had a great voice. You were a godsend for musicals. Not inaccurate. I can indeed sing, but I'm nowhere near as good as Vince is making it sound. I beam at him anyway. You know, I'm so glad you decided to do this. Meaning, join us, become a superhero. For a bit, I wasn't sure you would. I tilt my head, thinking. Well, I won't lie. Unbound didn't make it sound easy. Talking it out with Mnesis helped, I think. Or, well, I don't know. He seemed doubtful, but it's the right thing to do, yeah? You'll do great. I'll try, but thanks, Vince. We chat a little more about this and that. Turns out Vince does some volunteer work as well. I can't comprehend how he manages to pull it off, since he is also freaking Super Fang. When I ask, he reacts with an awkward smile. We're soon in the city, and it doesn't take long from there to get to Grifton. Vince drops me off near my dorm. Oh, forgot to ask, you want me to drive you to the funeral tomorrow? No, I'm good. I should be able to get my car back by then. You sure? Frank lives nearby, and I was gonna pick him up. Might as well all go together. You know what? Sure. Text me, alright? Sounds good. Mnesis didn't mention he lived near Grifton. I wonder if I've ever seen him in his civilian guise, unaware of his true identity. Doubt it. Nova is a huge city, with way too many people. Vince waves before driving off. The quad is fairly crowded. It's mid-afternoon, after all. Several students are just lounging on the grass, reading or chatting. I head into my dorm building, messaging Lucas that I'm back. He doesn't respond while I take the elevator ride to our floor. I've somehow managed to retain the keys to our suite. When I open the door, I see a blur of movement. I have barely any time to react before I'm half hugged, half tackled by my wolf roommate. Hey, ow! Dude, you're gonna crush my ribs! Lucas laughs at that, the vibration passing from his chest into mine. Sorry, just glad you're, good. I feel a little awkward. Lucas tends to be quite open with his feelings, but he's never been this affectionate. I am indeed good. I grin as he slaps me on the back. Careful, asshole, I'm still sore. It's good to be back. If only for a moment, I can forget about the craziness behind and ahead of me. I sit down on my chair and turn to face Lucas. But yeah, for real though, I was losing my mind before you texted me. I'm so touched. Lucas chucks a pillow at me. I catch it, laughing, but don't throw it back. Okay, I'm just happy we both made it out of there. Yeah. That was insane. Oh, you don't know the half of it. Not that I'll be explaining what actually happened. Even if Unbound hadn't instructed me to keep quiet, I know how dumb that would be. What the hell was up with that hospital anyway, not letting us visit and shit? I sure can try to divert the topic. Us? Well, yeah, your parents too. I spoke a bunch with your mom. How did you even get her number? Jess has it, dummy, from last summer. Oh, that's right, I had forgotten about that. I texted her you're back, by the way. She should be over soon. I perk up at that. Jessica Wilder became part of our little power trio late into freshman year, and we've been almost inseparable since. You're looking good, all things considered. Thank you, I consider myself quite a handsome raccoon. Maybe handsome for a raccoon. Hey! Lucas isn't quite as swift to catch the thrown pillow, and it smacks him in the muzzle. Before he can retaliate, there's a knock on the door, so I give him a smirk while he gets up to open it. Nick! Jess unceremoniously pushes Lucas out of the way and charges right at me. The chair almost tips over, threatening to send both of us to the floor as she throws herself onto my lap and gives me another rib-crushing hug. Fuck, are you two trying to kill me? Oh, shut up. I'm just happy to see you. She squeezes once before jumping nimbly off me. The lynx pauses to look me over with a critical eye. Her face then splits into a grin again. You pushed me. Well, you're in my way. I was opening the door for you? Lucas continues to pout while rubbing his elbow, and I burst out laughing. It's so good to see them again. How are you, Nick? I'm fine, nothing broken, as you can see. She eyes me up and down, then nods, satisfied. Looks like it. Good. You kept us pretty worried for a bit there. Jess plants herself on the couch. So then, what have you two dummies learned from this experience? Don't help Lucas with the projects he should have completed a month ago. Look up at the sky every time you're out, just in case there are supervillains flying at you. Stay away from shitty unfinished construction projects. Don't stay out with Nick somewhere just because he likes the view. Wow, dick. Very good, very good. Seems we have internalized some valuable life lessons after all. Jess puts on a mock voice like she's lecturing a class of 3rd graders. Indeed, ma'am. I'll be honest, at first when Lucas told me what happened, I thought it was some damn prank. Yeah, it took a while to convince her. Trust me, it was very real. And as batshit crazy as it sounds. Lucas turns to me, suddenly serious. So, what happened after the stairs collapsed? You never told me. It's all kind of a blur, as I told you. Templar and that other one were fighting, stuff was flying around. They kept smashing through walls and shit, so I had to keep running from one place to the next to keep myself hidden. I guess at some point I just got smacked in the head and it knocked me out. I woke up at the hospital. Fuck, dude. I should have found a way up there. Don't be stupid. You were right to get out while you could. I nod in agreement. Lucas is beating himself up over complete nonsense. There was nothing he could have done. He would have just gotten himself killed. The Culpio lets out a heavy sigh. Come on, you know you couldn't help me there in any way. Yeah, I guess. Just cuts in to change the topic. You ready for midterms? Yes, I got so much studying done. Alright, don't get snippy. Did you at least ask for extensions? Yeah, I emailed all my professors while I was at the hospital. I got an extra week for my papers and they rescheduled my Tuesday exam for Friday. Wow, unfair. The one extension they gave me was for my independent project, since, my footage is lost. Well, and Mnesis asked me not to spread the word about what happened at the construction. Oh, I had forgotten about that. I glance over at Jess. Noticing this, Lucas starts to shake his head. Well, I had to tell Jess, dude. It's not like she'll tell anyone. Duh. I'm a little uneasy about this. Mnesis is nice, but I doubt he'd like Lucas blabbing, even to another close friend of mine. Speaking of, an all-too-familiar mischievous smirk is tugging at Lucas's muzzle. You're telling me you were unconscious when Superfan carried you off in his strong, muscular arms? Just snickers. Shit, Nick, that must be heartbreaking. My bemused expression seems to entertain them all the more. Haha, look at the pro-comedians over here. Oh, come on, you would have loved that, had you been awake. I flipped the bird at them both, even though a part of me knows they're not entirely wrong. Vince is rather handsome. That doesn't mean, however, that I want him to bridal carry me anywhere. Even if he does have those strong muscular arms Lucas mentioned. Fuck, where the hell am I going with this? Focus, damn it. Yeah, and what about you? Enjoyed getting a close look at Mnesis? You know what? Not half bad. Shorter than I expected, but what little I could see under that cowl was cute. What did you even see? The tip of his nose? I think I spotted his whiskers peeking out too. Alright, boys, you can fawn over your savior some other time. What I want to find out is, do we know what happened to Templar? I blink. Templar? Templar is dead. And also, I'm Templar. I'm sure he's fine. He seemed to be winning the first fight when I was knocked out. I try to sound casual, but I'm not convinced I pull it off. Well, that other dude flew off a couple minutes before Superfang got there. For all we know, he might have, finished the job and left. I feel my breathing grow faster as I shake my head. I think Templar just drove him off before his teammates arrive. Hope so. Besides, the supervillain wouldn't have left you alive, right? Right. I hate lying to them like this. Shit, this is harder than I thought it'd be. Fortunately, the conversation shifts to something else again, and I just let Lucas and Jess chatter on while I think. After half an hour or so, Jess excuses herself, telling us she needs to study and reminding me to do the same. I smile and wave at the Lynx as she leaves. You owe me, by the way. The wolf lets out a rumbling laugh. After all the time I spent reassuring your parents? You know what? Fair. We'll call it even. Lucas's profile has been updated. Okay, let's check that out. Oh, wait. Notes. Lucas seems to be doing fine at least. Now I just need to make sure he doesn't suspect anything went down while I was at the hospital. Okay. The rest of the day is uneventful. I catch up on some work now that I have access to my laptop. It's a little strange to be back in my dorm room, worrying about papers and exams, when just this morning I was in the secret base of an actual superhero team. The school stuff still seems rather distant right now, and my thoughts inevitably turn to Templar's funeral. The Baron wasn't wrong. I don't know anything about the Badger who wore this bracelet before me. Nothing about his life, who he was, what he was like. Yet he entrusted me with his powers, his armor. This is just an opportunity for me to honor him in my own small way. I should have asked Vince about him while we were driving, instead of reminiscing about high school stuff. I suppose I can ask him tomorrow when he picks me up. Eventually, I wander over to the showers. When I return, Lucas gives me a curious glance. What's that? He's pointing at the bracelet. Shit, I keep forgetting it's there. I wish it had even a tiny bit of weight to it. It's a gift from a friend. The wolf frowns. Oh, when did you get it? At the hospital. I realize my answer was dumb before Lucas even asks the next question. Huh? I thought it was no visitors allowed. He didn't visit me. He works there. Someone I knew in high school. I can tell by the way the wolf's ears are moving around that I'm doing a piss-poor job with this story. Good friend? Kinda. He looks at the bracelet, then back at me. Is there a point to this? Oh, sorry, I was just curious. It's just a cheap bracelet, Lucas. Anyway, night. Okay, good night. With a nod, I headed to my room to get dressed. I'm feeling pretty irritated, although I'm not sure if it's directed at him or at myself. A little bit of both, maybe. By the time I'm back in the common room, Lucas has his headphones on, so I just do some light reading. Before I go to bed, I inform him that I'll be out tomorrow. I don't lie about my purpose, although I don't mention whose funeral it really is. Lucas leaves early for an exam, while I spend the morning making myself presentable. My head fur is being stubborn, and it takes me a while for me to tame it. I put on my suit and tie, then wait for Vince. About half an hour later, I get the message that he's almost here, and I head outside. Morning, Nick. Vince is dressed for the occasion as well, his oversized biceps and shoulders bulging through the navy fabric of his suit as he grips the steering wheel. Morning. I hesitate, unsure if I should ride shotgun or leave the seat open for Mnesis. In the end, I decide to just get in the front seat. Vince gives me a questioning glance, but doesn't say anything otherwise. How are you feeling? Good. I mean, well, you know. Yeah, I think I do. I discovered that Mnesis lives around 5 blocks down from Grifton. He's waiting for us in front of an old-fashioned but decent-looking apartment building. The fox looks a little awkward, shoulders hunched and paws in his pants pockets. He brightens up a little when the car comes to a stop at the curb. Hey, you two. For the next 10 minutes, we drive in silence. I'm told the cemetery is about an hour away, just outside the southern suburbs. Mnesis seems content to just gaze out the window, and Vince is focused on the road. I fidget with the buttons of my suit. Oh, this is cute. So, I've been meaning to ask something. Yeah? What was Templar like, as a person? Vince gives me a sideways glance. He was a hero through and through. The folk loved him for a reason, He was brave and strong, and he loved helping people. Always did what he did with a wide grin. He pauses, then laughs. I guess you wouldn't be able to tell, with the helmet and all. But trust me, he loved doing what he did, saving people, helping, all of it. I guess that's kind of the image of Templar I had in my head. Even if it seems a little, boring. I turn my head to look at Frank, but he doesn't meet my eyes, instead gazing out the window. His voice is tinged with melancholy. He had this sense of conviction with whatever he did, like he always knew who he was and what he needed to do, no matter the situation. Rarely saw him hesitate, even when the circumstances were far from being black and white. Just dependable, solid. He lets out a long sigh at the end. I sit in silence. That's a lot to live up to. Unbound said she doesn't expect me to. Well, more like she didn't think I can. It stings a little, but I guess it's up to me to try. I'm far from the steadfast, brave, heroic figure that Superfang and Mnesis are describing. That Templar is dead. I'm just a shoddy substitute. But I do intend to try. You'll be fine, Nick. Thanks. At the risk of sounding cliché, you just don't know how awesome you are yet. He gives me his signature thumbs up, eliciting a chuckle from me. Guess I'll have to trust you on that one. Good. Heh. Oh, another thing. Yeah? Well, I still don't know what the Baron looks like under the helmet, I mean. I'll point him out to you. You don't have to talk with him today if you don't want to. No, it's fine. I think back to how many times I've seen Mnesis and the Baron clash in the short time I've known them. Do you guys, not get along? Vince gives me a nervous glance. We're fine, mostly. He has just been a little insufferable since, I don't know why, but I feel a pang of guilt in my chest, even though I know this isn't my fault. Again, don't worry about him. He'll chill out soon enough. Looking forward to it. He's a good person. Never said he wasn't. But... come on, Fang. Yes, he is a good person. A good person who's sometimes a complete ass. Vince's expression falls, but he doesn't argue back. After that, Vince and I chat a little more about Templar. Mnesis is still lost in his own thoughts. I learned that Templar's real name was Michael O'Connor, and that he was an owner of a regular pub in the city. A remarkably unremarkable occupation for someone like him to have. Not that I knew him well enough to make that judgment. It's just that famous superhero who moonlights as a bartender seems a little incongruous. By then, we're in the flat suburbs south of Nova City, not run down, but a stark contrast to the lavish Magnolia Hills. Small, squat houses line the narrow roads as we weave through. Something occurs to me when we turn onto the street leading up to the cemetery. Did Templar's family know about the superhero stuff? Hmm? Oh, yes, they all did. I don't think Shannon does, actually. That's Michael's younger daughter. Frank clarifies for my benefit. Really? Huh. Well, Sarah and Danny knew for sure. Danny was training to be the next Templar. Oh. Yeah. Damn. So that's Templar's son. Do they know about me? Yes, the Baron told them. Fuck. That's going to be awkward. Should I even talk to either of them? Seems kind of disrespectful if I didn't. Then again, why would they want to talk to me? I grow more nervous as we approach our destination. Several cars are parked outside the walled entrance to the cemetery. Vince stops his and we shuffle out onto the sidewalk. I don't spot any people. I guess everyone's already in there. The air is crisp for this time of year, even as the sun shines overhead. As Vince goes ahead of us, I notice Frank lingering, struggling with his tie, the knot having loosened sometime during our ride. Want some help? Sure. He looks awkwardly to the side while I fiddle with the tie. Dad is a stickler for proper dress, so I could do this with my eyes closed. There, all good. Sorry about that. Thanks, Nick. No worries. Frank looks at his watch. We're a bit late. Let's go. Vince is waiting for us just inside the metal gates. The cemetery is well maintained, polished stone and marble all around. As good a resting place as any. Spotting the small group that has gathered for Templar's funeral is easy with nothing but low gravestones blocking line of sight. I take note of the family of badgers at once. The middle-aged female must be Sarah, which makes the tall and broad male Danny, and the young girl Shannon. Frank nudges me and points to a tall albino rat standing next to the widow, rubbing her back with slow, circular motions. So that's the Baron in black. The Baron's a rat. Wow, okay. Unbound stands towards the back. It's the first time I've seen her without her mask, but since I know what to look for, recognizing her is easy enough. The three of us move to join her. The bear acknowledges our arrival with a nod. Meanwhile, the priest, a short mouse, is reading from the scripture. I stand a bit to the side, letting the teammates mourn without me intruding. I feel out of place enough as it is. Besides the 4 sentinels, I don't know a single person here. I hate the thought that I was the last person who saw Templar, Mr. Arcand, alive. Not his family, not his friends, not even his superhero teammates, but a random raccoon who just happened to be chilling. But a random raccoon who just happened to be chilling in an abandoned condo in the hills. I couldn't even help him in the fight that killed him. And even then, he gave me his most valued possession. Staring at the casket that has yet to be lowered into the ground, I can't help but wonder if Templar, wherever he is now, regrets his last act. I guess it's up to me to make sure he won't. The priest finishes, and Danny steps forward to deliver the eulogy. The badger is stone-faced. I imagine he is trying his hardest to put on a stoic appearance. According to Vince, he turned 18 some months ago, and he's still a senior in high school. I can't imagine how hard this must be for him. Still, his voice doesn't crack once as he speaks of his father. I'm startled to hear Vince sniffle next to me. He looks mortified as he tries to discreetly wipe his eyes with his sleeve. Tries because his size makes it rather hard to be discreet. Not that anyone is looking at him, besides me. Maybe he'd appreciate a small gesture of comfort? Oh, there's a choice to either comfort him or let him be. So let's be, teammates. Let's comfort him. Knitting my brows, I take a quick step to the side and nudge his elbow. He flinches as if jolted and turns his face toward me. He frowns, then nods and pulls his arm back. Oh, that was wrong. Okay, so... I'll go back and, do it again. Because it's wrong. Let him be. He doesn't need me right now. Bringing attention to his emotional state could just He doesn't need me right now. Bringing attention to his emotional state could just upset him more. I turned my attention back to the funeral. I try to focus on the young badger's words, but I can't stop staring at the hole in the ground. My mind is blank, a faint buzzing in my ears. I only look away when I realize Danny has finished delivering his eulogy. His younger sister is crying into her sleeve, with the Baron standing over her, paws on her shoulders. I take a quick look at Mnesis and Unbound. The fox is just staring at the ground, paws in his pockets again, jaw tight. Unbound looks more composed, although there is obvious sorrow in her expression. Vince seems to have recovered and is now observing the proceedings calmly, but his tense and uncomfortable posture gives his true mood away. They begin lowering the casket. I hang back as the rest of the small crowd gets closer. Rest in peace, Templar. I don't know why you picked me for this job, and I'm going to do my damn best. I made up my mind about that already. They start covering the grave in dirt, and several of the attendees start wandering away, while others exchange brief words with Templar's family. The Sentinels are all there now too, with the Badgers. Vince gives all three a hug, his form trembling as he does so. I'm glad Templar's family has people like them around. The Baron hasn't left their side for even a moment. Again, I feel out of place. I think about just following some of the others to the gate, where I'll just wait for Vince and Frank. My plans are interrupted when I see the Baron is beckoning me with his paw while the O'Connors stare at me. Oh shit. I freeze, unsure what to do. I'm very much not prepared for this. I should have left sooner. But it's not like I can just ignore this now. So I walk over, slow and awkward, feeling anxiety to overtake me. Hey, Shannon, why don't we take a short walk together? I saw something cool the other day I wanted to tell you about. She nods dejectedly, and the two take their leave. The Baron adjusts his glasses and, at last, introduces me. Oh, so this is the Baron. Without his, get-up. Okay. Sarah, Daniel, this is Nick Saunders. I am very sorry for your loss. Sarah and her son regard me silently for several tense seconds. Then, to my surprise, the former gives me a slight smile. Thank you so much for coming, Nick. That was very nice of you. Michael would have appreciated it. Yes, of course, ma'am. The Baron opens his muzzle as if he intends to speak, but seems to reconsider. His expression is neutral, but I can still feel the weight of his gaze on me. It's as if he's telling me not to fuck it up. Oh, what is this? This is tense. Danny suddenly speaks up, his voice low, almost a growl. Show it to me. Daniel. The bracelet. I grit my teeth. I can tell Sarah is about to say something again, but I decide I should do this. Fumbling to roll up my sleeve, I reveal the reddish band on my wrist. Huh. This is the first time I've seen it out in the sun, and it looks much more vibrant in this light. It had this dull color while I was indoors. Now, not so much. There's a brief moment of silence. Then Danny's muzzle contorts into an expression of rage. That's not yours. Take it off right now. He takes a step toward me, and despite myself, I cringe away. The Badger may be a couple years younger, but his height and physique are imposing. Daniel, stop right this second. The tall badger rounds on his mother. It's mine, and he has no right to it. How can you? Tim, dear, would you please escort Daniel back to the car? I'd like a moment with Nick. The Baron nods, putting a paw on Danny's shoulder and pushing him to the path leading to the gates. Come on, kiddo. Despite his continuing protests, Daniel is led away. Frank, who stood at my side during the entire exchange, follows them, as does Unbound. I'm left alone with Templar's wife. The Baron's profile has been updated. Okay. I'm going to be keeping a respectful distance from Baron in Black. He didn't want me here, and I have a mentor now. Maybe he'll warm up to my presence, but I'm not about to bend over backwards. Oh. Why did I read all of that? Species albino rat. So yes, his name is Tim, and he's an albino rat. I'm left alone with Templar's wife. I shuffle from one footpath to the other. I'm very sorry, Mrs. O'Connor. Your son is right. Sarah frowns for a moment before smiling warmly at me again. You are not the one who should be apologizing, dear. I'm sure Daniel is just upset. I don't mean him, although my son owes you an apology for his behavior just now. I blink at her, not quite following what she's saying. Her smile fades, and she sighs with obvious exhaustion. You should have never been put in this situation in the first place. I am so sorry any of this is happening to you. I open my mouth, then realize I don't know what to say and close it. I didn't expect this at all. I thought she'd be as angry as Danny, rightfully so. Would you mind walking with me a little? Yes, ma'am, of course. We wander down the paved path between the rows of graves scattered in the grass. Sarah goes in the opposite direction from the gate. I'm reluctant to follow. Even with the chill, I feel stuffy and suffocated in my suit. A bird, maybe a crow, makes a noise somewhere nearby. Can you tell me what you saw that day? I skid to a stop. For a moment, I consider telling her that I'd much rather not. But I see a plea in her eyes that I can't just refuse. So I do as she asks. I tell her what happened, never going into the details of the fight. Oh, how brutal it was, how viciously that wolf attacked her husband. The blows that shattered his armor and rained down on his exposed flesh. She doesn't need to hear any of that. I'll just let it flash in front of my eyes while I stare at my feet the whole time I'm talking. I'm so sorry, Mrs. O'Connor. I didn't mean to upset you. She shakes her head. No, everything is all right. Thank you, Nick. I'm sorry. She wipes her eyes with a handkerchief I offer, letting out another sigh. It's so strange to see that bracelet on someone else. She stares off into the distance somewhere, but not for long, as her gaze snaps back to me. This is all incredibly unfair on you. I can't help but feel angry at myself and Michael. How do you mean? Why would you be angry? Because he did this to you. You shouldn't, Mrs. O'Connor. He was a hero. I know, and I'll always be proud of who he was. Which doesn't change the fact that he had no right to inflict this burden on you. It was my decision to keep the bracelet. She nods. You are very brave. Not really. No, Nick, I mean it. After what you saw. Oh, Michael, I'd smack you if you were standing here right now. Please don't say that, Mrs. O'Connor. I'm sure he did what he did for a reason. Yes, I think so too. I suspect I know why. We had been talking lately. I was so anxious about having Danny inherit his power. He disagreed, of course, but maybe not as much as I thought. It's such a dangerous thing, and when he met you, someone the bracelet would accept. My heart sinks. What is she saying? The Templar gave me the bracelet so his son wouldn't have to put himself into danger? Because Mrs. O'Connor was worried about what it would mean for their son? No, that's... Sarah must have noticed how much her words have unsettled me because she puts a paw on my elbow. I flinch. I'm sorry, Nick. If it's because of what I said to Michael, he shouldn't have done this, even if part of me is relieved. Because Daniel won't have to put himself in danger? She nods, her eyes brimming with tears again. I feel a little numb. I understand. Even so, I won't blame you if you... No, Mrs. O'Connor, I already decided. Even if what you said is true, I'm not going to change my mind now. I can't ask you to do that. It's so selfish and unfair. Danny has been training for this. My husband did a lot to prepare him. To then turn around and foist it upon an innocent bystander? It's all right. I understand. Really, don't worry about it. She sniffles into the handkerchief, giving me a long, searching look. I meet her eyes this time. Thank you. Don't mention it. We turn around and head back, silent for the moment. As we approach the gate, I spot the Baron's white fur peeking over the stone wall surrounding the cemetery. Damn, he's tall. Sarah taps me on the shoulder. Listen, Nick, if there's anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out. You hear me? Michael asked a great deal, and it's only right for me to be there for you. If you need to talk, or you are in trouble and need a safe place, whatever it is, call me or pay me a visit. Thank you, Mrs. O'Connor. I am grateful for that, and I'll keep it in mind. She takes my phone to type in her number and address before we part ways. Sarah's profile has been unlocked. Okay. Where is it? It's not here yet, okay. Over by his car, Vince is chatting with a female calico cat. Frank is standing near them, not participating in the conversation himself. I signal him to wait and instead head toward the rat. He acknowledges my approach with a nod. You have my number, right? Could have warned me that you were going to tell Mrs. O'Connor about me. I wasn't about to hide what happened from them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I shouldn't have been blindsided by this. I assumed the champ or the fox would warn you. They only mentioned it because I asked first. The rat works his jaw, no doubt coming up with some caustic response. I stare him down. All right, you have a point there. Now, can we move on to more important matters? Grinding my teeth, I begrudgingly nod at his question. How did it go with Sarah? Fine. I can tell he's waiting for me to elaborate, but when I don't, he rolls his eyes. He then looks around as if to confirm nobody's close enough to overhear us. None of this is fine, but all right. There's something else that we will need to deal with sooner or later. The director of SPEC is here. You don't have to talk with him right now, but you might as well. Director of what? Superpowered Persons Engagement Commission. He's our liaison with the federal government. Okay, cool, but why would I want to talk with him? The Baron narrows his eyes. Haven't bothered to read the Cape Act? Hadn't occurred to me, no. Was I supposed to? Yes, memorize it. Anyway, if you intend to be a superhero, the head of the commission will need to learn your identity. Haha, yeah, right. This isn't negotiable, Raccoon. You're either registered with SPEC or you're a vigilante, and Templar is not a goddamn outlaw. I run my fingers through the fur on my forehead. This is certainly a change of pace from the funeral. I'd be more annoyed with the rat right now for not telling me much sooner if I didn't know that the team had been too preoccupied with Templar's death to think of all this. It's a hell of a shitty thing to have just sprung on you like this, though. Fine. The Baron points out a tall husky, who I now notice had been speaking with Mrs. O'Connor just moments ago. As the badgers drive off, the dog turns to see us approaching. He looks older than the Baron, maybe around the same age as Templar had been. The American flag pin on his lapel catches the sun, blinding me for a brief moment. This is Gregory Johnston, director of the Superpowered Persons Engagement Commission. Greg, this is Nick Saunders. He's the new Templar. Hi. Oh? The husky beams at me in that open and friendly manner dogs often do. He offers me a pot to shake. I hesitate only a second before taking it. Good to meet you, Nick. Surprised Tim let it happen. Been bugging him for days now. I give the Baron a puzzled look. Guess even he respects my privacy enough to not out me to the freaking government willy-nilly. Didn't extend the same courtesy regarding the Arcanders, but at least they had a right to know. Yeah, well, he hadn't decided until recently. Right, anyways, there more to whatever this is? Some bureaucracy, but you don't need to worry about that stuff right now. Your identity will be secure, of course. Only a select few have access to such information. We take our heroes' safety very seriously. Great. I'll handle all that on Nick's behalf, Greg. Just figured a quick introduction was in order. Of course, of course. Then I'll be in touch soon, on this and other matters. If you don't mind, can Nick and I have a moment? Uh-oh, again? I can't tell if the Baron is surprised by the request. What is surprising, however, is that he looks to me for a reply. Sure. The rat nods and walks off. First of all, Nick, I must commend you on behalf of the federal government for deciding to take up this mantle. Should I politely indicate that I couldn't care less what the federal government thinks? This Gregory is starting to remind me of the military recruiter that came around to our high school. My dad, being a vet himself, was keen on me hearing the man out. Of course, that wasn't going to happen. Not then, not now. Thanks. Gregory must be catching on that I am very much lacking in an enthusiasm at the moment. He gives me a long look, his expression turning somber. It's a tragedy what happened with Michael. Still, we have to keep moving forward. We're all counting on you. I intend to do my best. I'm certain you do, and we at SPEC are committed to ensuring our great heroes can get the job done. The Sentinels are an independent group, but I think you should consider a formal contract with us, Nick. Our support can be invaluable. There it is. I think I'll stick with the team, but thanks. A partnership with us won't preclude you from that. Still, I'll pass. To my great surprise, the husky shows no signs of frustration with me, instead smiling again. This is obviously not the best time for this talk. We should meet again so you can learn more. He hands me a business card. As tempted as I am to toss it, I pocket it, nodding at him. Is that all, then? For now. Hope to see you soon, Nick. Just don't go mentioning my name to anyone, alright? And good luck. Sure, thanks. Most everyone is gone by now, with just Vince and Frank in the car and the Baron watching me from the sidewalk. He beckons me with a gesture. There, done. What did he say? Wants to get me in some bullshit contract. I take it you refused? I snort in response. Not a flag licker then. Good. Although you better have stayed respectful, Gregory is not someone we can afford to antagonize. Oof, must be hard for you, with your shining personality. My comment is met with a slight narrowing of the rat's eyes. What's a flag licker anyway? Superheroes in government employ. Ah, yeah. Didn't know that was a thing. Read the news then. Okay, whatever. He said he wanted to meet up again. You'll have to sooner or later. Like it or not, dealing with the government is going to become part of your life. I'd rather it be later then. The rat nods. Would help if you're not as clueless when it happens. Either way, we've kept the champ waiting long enough. He reached into an inner pocket of his jacket and retrieves a simple USB stick. Some information that would be useful to you. Nothing incriminating, but still, keep it to yourself and don't lose it. The password to the folder is Kunjob. Seriously? Yes, and read the damn Cape Act. You'll be in it if I have to clean up any messes because you didn't know the law. Greg's profile has been unlocked. Can we see if there's profile? Yeah, so we see Greg now, but we didn't see Sarah. Greg. Real name, Gregory Johnston. Species, husky. Powers, none as far as I know. Occupation, director of SPEC. Age, late 30s. Now, this is one introduction I could have done without. I didn't join the army like Dad wanted me to, and I'm not about to work with a governmental bureau like SPEC. Okay. Oh, there are things we can see. Talking serious. Smile and talking smile. Maybe suit and eye patch Halloween. Okay. That is nice to have. Let's go back. I just wave him off, not bothering to say goodbye as I hurry to Vince's car. The tiger doesn't immediately drive off as I get in. Instead, both he and Frank give me concerned looks. Everything all right, buddy? Yeah, all good. Saw you talking with Gregory. Did he make the pitch? Didn't give him much of an opportunity. Heh. What did Sarah say? I think about what I should tell them. Mrs. O'Connor wanted to speak with me alone. Then again, nothing we discussed was all that private. Maybe there would be no harm telling these two. Should I? Okay, should we tell them or keep it between me and Mrs. O'Connor? Ooh, this is a toughie. So, Frank and Vince are my teammates, so I think I should tell them because, you know, we're a team and all that. We'll see, and if it feels wrong, I'll go back. She said she was sorry about everything that's been happening around me. Mrs. O'Connor is kinda angry, I guess, at herself and Templar. What? She said he might have given me the bracelet because, well, he didn't want his son to get it. To keep him safe, I guess, and apparently she had been worried about that. My words are met with a tense silence. Vince grips the steering wheel so hard, I fear the seams of his suit are going to burst. Michael wouldn't have done that. He gave you the bracelet because you're special, and he sent that. I don't know. Vince shakes his head vehemently, looking angry for the first time. You know he wouldn't do it for such a selfish reason. Maybe not. I let the ensuing silence linger for a moment. I mean, it was Templar's wife who told me that. Who else would know him better? Maybe his teammates were unaware of how Templar really felt about being a superhero. Can we go back a little? Let's see how the mood is on the other decision. This is kind of, you know, leaning on the bad side. Let's see. Keep it between me and Mrs. O'Connor. She was very nice to me. Just sort of apologized, I guess. I don't say anything else, and even though I sense that Mnesis wants me to explain further, I look away until I see him nod from the corner of my eye. All right. Shall we head back? Yes, let's. From there, we drive in silence. Okay, so it's pretty tame. So maybe we'll go with this for now, because the other decision was causing, you know, distress to Super Fang to find out that Templar was selfish, you know. So okay, we'll go with this. Frank has taken out his phone and is tapping at the screen. I'm a little curious what someone like him would find interesting on the internet. Mnesis doesn't seem like the social media type, unlike Superfang, who has a wildly popular Instafur account. Instafur and Furchu. He posts selfies all the time, whenever he's finished dealing with a crime or from the tops of skyscrapers. I spent some time yesterday browsing through his feed. It's very endearing in a way. The other Sentinels just have fan pages and such, nothing official as far as I'm aware. Maybe they use that stuff in their civilian guises, but I'm not about to start looking for Frank's account on Chirper. Chirper? Wow. It's like Twitter, and we don't know what Twitter has come to. Anyway, that could be interesting. Should I ask if he has one? No, that's dumb. Lots of dots. My thoughts drift back to the conversation with Mrs. O'Connor. The more I ponder it, the more depressing it becomes. Wonder what the Baron thinks about all this. Would she tell him what she believes happened? Probably. He seems to be very close with Templar's family. Maybe it means he'll ease up on me, since I got the power so his friend's son would live a normal life. Except I know he won't, because he thinks Danny should have inherited the bracelet. Templar said he was sorry. I guess I know what he meant now. He must have felt like he was throwing me under the bus. Or, well, I could have still refused, in which case nothing would change. But I could also do what I ended up doing anyway and relieve his son of the burden. In that light, his actions make sense. If I carry on like this, these doubts are going to pursue me forever. Maybe it doesn't matter. It is what it is. As I told Mrs. O'Connor, I've already made up my mind. There's no point moping about it. Speaking of moping, maybe I should try to lift the mood in the car somehow. No idea how, though, since I don't know either of them well enough. Which could be a starting point. Small talk to the rescue. Frank, do you also have, like, a civilian identity? The fox puts away his phone and looks at me with a half smile. Yeah, I need a driver's license, you know? That's not what I... Chuckling, Frank raises his paws. I know. I was joshing. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm jobless. Is that bad? It's not great, I guess. What do you do in your free time, then, assuming you take any breaks from all this superhero stuff? Been trying to learn to code. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself for thinking that it's no surprise that Asian Fox would be into that. He's Asian? I didn't know that. Anyway, not that I'm about to voice that particular thought. Fancy yourself a little game dev? No, I hate those things. Vince laughs. I tried getting him to play a fighting game with me once. Should have seen the disgusted look I got. Michael, on the other hand, was all over it, like a little kid. Imagining the three Sentinels just chilling and playing a video game is somehow mind-boggling yet heartwarming at the same time. The tiger is back to his cheerful self that I've grown so accustomed to by now. Mnesis is smiling too, like he was the first time I saw him. Didn't expect my poor attempt at getting a conversation going to be such a resounding success. Even reminiscing about their fallen teammate doesn't seem to bother them. I'm a little shocked to learn that Templar could be quite a goofball at times. This one time, he told me Danny was starting to beat him at basketball, so we spent the whole day practicing until he was confident he'd stay the undefeated dad. I remember that. He was so pleased with himself. Too bad you both got in trouble with Unbound for shirking your patrol duties. The tiger winces at that. Guess the point is, Fang will go along with whatever dopey activity you come up with, so long as you present it right. He frowns, thinking, you know what? Scratch that. You don't even need to present it all that well. Hey, I'm not that easy to persuade. If you say so, big guy. Vince pouts as the fox and I laugh, then joins in himself. Ah, but seriously, try not to do stuff like that while Emma is around. She likes when we stay focused on what really matters, duty and responsibility and such. What's her alter ego? Oh, she's the county prosecutor. Whoa! Yep. Wow, how does she find the time to be a superhero too? The job makes sense, though. I'm sure it takes just one look from those intense eyes for the criminals to confess everything. It makes my skin crawl, and I haven't even done anything wrong. Okay, I've done some things wrong, but those are too minor to get me in trouble with someone like her, right? I doubt she cares to deal with the minor acts of vandalism and trespassing. Besides, I've never been caught. Regardless, Unbound sure is scary. Hope I never get on her bad side. Either way, now that the mood is lighter, at least, we chat away while Vince drives us through downtown. Multiple profiles have been updated. Okay, let's check that out. Oh yeah, it says here now that Vince is preparing for bed school. Notes, even though he won't be mentoring me. I'm glad Vince is my teammate, and hey, it doesn't mean I can't still learn from him, and maybe it's too early to be saying this, but at the end of the day, he's the one I'm confident I can count on as a friend. Jesus, Vince is busier than a high school student aiming to apply to Harvard. I don't know if I should be impressed or horrified. Oh, so he's not a himbo. He's actually, he's got the looks and the brains. So I'll have Mnesis teaching me, and he couldn't have sounded less excited about it. At least I can tell it's not just me he's hesitant about, though. There's something more to it, even if I can't figure out what. Regardless, I hope this means I'll be able to get him. I'll be able to get to know him better. Oh, so he dislikes video games. That's just the update. Okay, Baron. So the real name of Unbound is Emma, and she's the Nova County prosecutor. And she likes not running from responsibilities. How very nice. That's something you'd say when you're introducing yourself. I don't like to run from responsibilities. Okay. Okay. That's just it. Frank asks to be dropped off a couple blocks down from his apartment building, saying he wants to take a short walk. When Vince rolls the car to a stop near Grifton, he pats my shoulder once before I get out. Text me if you need anything. All right? Sure thing. Thanks, Vince. I wave goodbye as the tiger drives off. Back in our suite, I find myself alone, with Lucas likely at the library, studying for his exams. I should do some of that myself, but I don't feel like it right now. Now that I have a moment all to myself, I let my curiosity guide my actions. It's high time I gave this armor a proper test. Oh my gosh. But first, I lock my room, hide my laptop so the NSA doesn't get any ideas, and make sure the blinds are closed. Then I clear as much space in the middle of the room as I can. Admittedly, this isn't the best place to be doing this, but then again, what would be? I could try to sneak onto the roof. Come to think of it, I will need to find a safe spot at the college where I can take off unseen, won't I? I'll worry about that later. Into my mental checklist it goes. First, the armor. Feeling a little dorky as I stand there, arm upraised, I nevertheless try to concentrate on the task at hand. The figure depicted in the center of the patterns draws my eyes, so I stare at it, envisioning myself as the warrior clad in Templar's armor. Just need to fight the small voice in my head that says it's silly to imagine myself like that. I can fight just fine, bitch. Yep, take blows, swing the mace around, drop some supervillains. I can do it. Wouldn't be wearing this thing otherwise. As if reacting to my thoughts, the bracelet vibrates, for sure this time, and then glows red, blinding me for a moment. Then, starting with my right arm, the armor starts forming right out of thin air, translucent shapes solidifying into familiar forms as the gauntlet spreads up my hand and wrist. Whoa! I stand still as more and more of my body is covered, spreading from my right side to the left, the armor startlingly light compared to what I had been expecting. As the helmet forms, I close my eyes, but the pressure is light, and when I look again, the field of view through the slits remains much wider than I would have thought. It takes a few seconds to form in full, seconds that I keep my body frozen in place. When I move it, it's, once again, oddly easy. The only discomfort I feel is from my tail squished up against my back. My clothes aren't gone, but even then, my fur is enough of a cushion between my skin and the metal. I flex my fingers, fold my arms, and take several steps around the room. The glow from my armor throws a soft red light around the room. After spending several minutes just testing my movements, it occurs to me to look in the mirror at last, and my eyes open wide at the sight. Oh, so this is what he looks like with the armor. That is cool. It's still very much Templar's armor, but the shapes have changed somewhat. The helmet, in particular, looks different, with much sharper angles. Even the plume is missing. Huh. I can't deny it looks hella cool, though. Just a bit different. Guess the public will have to get used to that. After more time spent examining myself in the mirror, I turn around and step to the center of the room again. Do I feel stronger? I kinda do. To test my theory, I slide my paw under the bed frame and lift. It's not a stark difference, but there's an undeniable increase in strength there. Awesome! Now then, time to see if I can figure out this whole flying thing. Oh my gosh, you really want to fly in your room? Okay. As I concentrate on what I want to do, the light on the greaves and around my heels intensifies, and I start to float up. Holy crap! It's just several inches off the floor, but I quickly find that it's difficult to hold my balance and start flailing with my arms as I laugh. Awesome, this is fucking awesome. Fuck it, I should go outside and try this shit for real. No, that's a bad idea. But okay, let's see. I'd go find some crime to stop if I wasn't supposed to be keeping a low profile, but doesn't mean I can't fly around, right? Oh my gosh, Nick. You don't know what a low profile means and not being seen? Oh my gosh. I could... Yo, Nick, wanna come for dinner? Oh my gosh. Lucas's voice sends me crashing back to reality. And to the floor as well as my concentration slips and I drop with a resounding cling. Dude, you okay in there? Yeah, dropped my backpack. Alright. So, dinner? Nah, I'm gonna eat late. Go ahead without me. I lie on the floor for a bit, heart pounding against my chest. I can't restrain a giggle, though. Is he not going to see? Is Lucas not going to see us? Alright, maybe I should be more cautious, but this shit is, to put it bluntly, really freaking cool. I roll to the side and will the armor to disappear. And it does. That is magical. It does, much quicker than it formed, and I'm left staring at the bracelet. Yeah, I can definitely work with this. My fur is matted and I've become a little sweaty, but I couldn't care less. I'm practically vibrating with excitement. How do the others actually expect me to sit around and study when I have this? Okay, calm down. I can't go out yet. Yes, you don't want to do that. Even if I'm half tempted to throw open the window and try this flying thing out properly this time. The time for that will come soon enough. I pace around the room, grinning from ear to ear, while I wait for my heartbeat to subside. I should do something productive. I decide to look up Gregory on my phone. As expected, he's not officially listed as the director of SPEC. Oh, there is something fishy. Searching for the Baron's civilian identity is much more fruitful, since there aren't many albino rats in Nova named Tim, and the results aren't surprising in the least. Rich boy from a billionaire family. Shocker. I'll look into him more later. The Baron's profile has been updated. What has been updated? He is the owner of the Braun Industries Corporation. And did it say his birthday was October 11th? Fucking great. Turns out Baron in Black is just a rich dude running around in a costume to play at being a hero. Okay, fine, I'm being unfair. It's not like the lifestyle itself. It's not like the lifestyle isn't full of deadly risks. I'll try to keep an open mind. So yeah, so he's a rich dude in a costume. He is Iron Man. Okay. I take a quick look at the Cape Act too, but slogging through the legalese is a quick reminder of why I never considered a career in law. I try to extract the main points at least. Anyone with superpowers who intends to use them to fight crime needs to register with the government. Use of powers on foreign soil banned. Superheroes can be held accountable for property damage or excessive use of force, yada yada. As I feel my eyes glaze over, I close the tab and retrieve the USB drive the rat gave me, curious to find out what information he deigned to share. Plugging it into my tablet, I dismiss the notifications, open the new folder, and enter the password the Baron gave me. Oh, let's see at the notifs. Nova Times, the Cauldron Observatory and Satellite Array to go online this year. World use tensions rising over the Imperial military base on Kawal. Danero Fluffbutt at Randorsk. Stop saying horny. It's offensive and disrespectful. Stop saying horny. It's offensive and disrespectful to bovines. Okay, that's funny. Fuzz Feet. 15 supervillains that are nicer than you think. Jake Andrews. Yo, Brian wants to run a one-shot over spring break. You in? Level 7. Any class. Okay. Rows and rows of files scroll across the screen. Most of them are dossiers on what I presume to be various supervillains of the West Coast. So they have Fiasco Fox, Flicker, General Gestalt, Gorgon, Hellhound, Jovial J, Kaiser, Calamity, Kismet, Lady Winter, Lyra Loco, Magog, Master Alabaster, Miss Click, Null Zero. Miss Click reminds me of a drag name. Ochre, Panzer Possum, Ragnarok, and Ragnarok, Raging Robin. Okay. Some names I see are familiar. Mine are crooks that got their day in the limelight before being promptly jailed or forced into hiding. And some so famous I'm surprised they even bothered including them here. Even preschoolers know Lady Winter. Alter ego, Lady Winter, identity unknown, powers, weather manipulation, threat level extreme. Known crimes too many to list. See pages 18 to 43. Notes. Has been operating for 3 decades now. Started in Oregon but has gone up against every major superhero team on the West Coast. Powerful weather manipulation abilities make her exceedingly dangerous. More on page 5. Never engage alone. Lethal force authorized. Cooperation with Canadian superheroes authorized. Recently operating out of Alaska. Ice fortress likely constructed with the assistance of another powered individual. I'm guessing... I'm guessing Elsa from Frozen. Joke. Plans unclear, but likely involve global conquest. Costumes over the years have continued to influence the fashion industry. Strange legacy for a supervillain, likely flattering. She also reminds me of Cruella de Vil because she has influence in the fashion industry. Or hell, Flicker is practically a historic figure, even if nobody's quite sure if they're even sentient anymore, seeing as how they're a being of pure energy now. Just wandering the desolation in New Mexico, like some kind of silent guardian. According to the Baron's notes, they occasionally make their way west, though. Alter ego Shatterbox. Identity Artyom Sokolov. Oh, is he Russian? Powers, sound manipulation, dampening, amplifying, threat level, medium. Known crimes, grand larceny, kidnapping, murder, destruction of public property, vandalism, trespassing, jaywalking. Notes, Lieutenant of the Northern Syndicate. likely kept around as their chief enforcer, violently unstable, known for highly erratic behavior. Lethal measures have been authorized, but capture if possible. Impressive offensive potential. See page 3 for power breakdown and pages 9 to 12 for incidents involving him. Defense potential non-existent. Best sniped from outside sensory range. I keep scrolling for now. For now, I only open the dossiers that catch my eye. Besides general information, the Baron has included notes on countering powers, a detailed list of criminal activity, and full reports of encounters with the supervillains. He doesn't spare any snark in his notes either, not that it's unwarranted. Some of these people have picked truly atrocious aliases. Dr. Sion, Dr. Albert Wheatley, control over vegetative growth, full extent unclear, regeneration, threat level low, known crimes illegal experimentation, arson, larceny, grand larceny. Note seems to be gathering materials to continue the research that led to his lab accident. Not strictly dangerous, since so far he has refrained from using lethal force and tends to avoid violence when possible. Uses vines to restrain the police force, guards, and superheroes who go up against him. Lethal force unnecessary. While fire would be extremely effective, its use is not advised. Capture preferable. Weirdly, hasn't ranted about global warming yet. Missing the forest for the trees? Okay, that's the snark in the notes. I'm surprised to see some individuals that have no criminal record. The Baron has listed information on the so-called vigilantes, too. Guess they're subject to arrest because they won't abide by the Cape Act. Does he expect me to try and bring them in if I encounter one? Fuck that shit. More dossiers. And there it is. The Black Wolf. My heart skips a beat, and I feel a spike of anxiety drive itself through my stomach. I can fight. I can fight. There's no reason to be this afraid. Mnesis will kick this bastard's ass. You won't? Why Mnesis? Just breathe. I'll be just fine. I sit there rubbing my forehead, repeating the words like a mantra. All of my earlier exhilaration is gone, replaced by a mounting dread. Fuck! No, this is stupid. There are people far scarier on the Baron's list. It's just some asshole wolf with a glowing fist. He probably took Templar by surprise. At best, I'll never have to deal with him myself, and if worst comes to worst, I'll pull through. No, more than that, I'll kick his fucking ass. With this, I can do it. And he transforms again. The armor reforms around me and brings with it the sense of security I so desperately need right now. Yeah, sure, I've seen it broken, but it's whole now, and it can protect me. It will protect me. Whatever comes, I'll be ready. I dismiss it again, not feeling any calmer, but at least a little reassured. Still, I need to somehow work this energy off. Exercise will do me some good. After a quick change of clothes, I'm out on the quad, stretching before my run. And I'm off. No music, just the street ambience, the pounding of my pulse in my ears. I can do it. I'm not running away. If that canine bastard appeared in front of me right now, I'd rush straight at him, tackle him to the ground. Wow, that's a little too much confidence, not having any training yet. Beat him senseless. Fuck you, wolf. That's right, I'm not scared. I've no reason to be. I'm Templar now. As I'm rounding a corner, I skid to a stop to take a breather. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I check who it is. Huh, a message from Mnesis. Hey, we need to talk. Can you come to the Grifton Park in half an hour? Yeah, I can wait there. I'm out on a run right now. Close? I frown at my phone, feeling a little nervous about the sudden request. What could Mnesis want to discuss so soon after the funeral? Guess I'll find out shortly. Maybe I can vent a little too. I know he'll lend me an ear. Yeah, this is good timing actually. The company of another superhero is just what I need right now. I turn to run toward Grifton Park, picking up more energy with every step. Let's see what the fox has to say. With our meeting place being just a 10-minute jog away, I take it slow. The sun was already setting when I left my dorm, and darkness is descending now. I'd expect the park to have plenty of people walking around at this time of day, and I'm proven right. Folks tend to congregate near the central fountain area though, so it's not surprising when Frank texts me again, saying to meet him near the west end. I spot him almost immediately, wearing casual clothes for once. So there he's wearing his hoodie, and he's so cute. Looks like he also had the idea to go on a run. Frank's handsome. The superhero outfit doesn't do a good job of showcasing that he's actually pretty cut. Let's take a look again. Well, of course he is. There's a trio of guys chatting not far from me, so instead of approaching, the fox tilts his head toward one of the empty pathways. I jog over to join him. Out on a run too? Uh-huh. Hey, since we live near each other, we could totally run to get... We need to talk. Okay. About what? Mnesis stops, prompting me to do the same. For a moment, he stares off into the distance, his whiskers twitching, before turning his sharp gaze to me. You. Is this about my training? There's not gonna be any training. What do you mean? Nick. Just quit this already. We both know it's stupid. Hand me the bracelet and forget any of this happened. I gape at him, waiting for the just kidding that never comes. What are you talking about? You heard me. What even brought this on? I couldn't stop thinking about the funeral. Well, okay, regardless, the answer is no. I'm not having this discussion again. Mnesis' fur bristles as he clenches his teeth. There's no discussion here. Glad we're in agreement. Do you have a fucking death wish? I take a step back from the fox, my fingers trembling. No? Come on, I'll be careful, okay? I've thought it all through. Have you? Just what the fuck did you think through? It took you less than a day to agree to this shit. Again, I'm rendered speechless by his tone. What the hell is his problem? I've had more time to think since then, and my decision hasn't changed. He rubs his eyes and snout, taking deep breaths as if to calm himself down. Nick, do you have any idea how dangerous this is? How much danger you're putting the others in? You have friends, family, you have a fucking life. Do you want to ruin it all just because Templar decided to shove you into his armor? I'm not gonna put anyone in danger. How many times do I need to say this? I'll be careful. The stuff you're saying would have been true for you guys too, no? When you were starting out? That's not the same. How the hell is it not the same? Vince was in college when he started, just like me. No, it's not the fucking same. Fang was a nobody, just a kid beating up random thugs in alleys. Nobody would be gunning for him before he learned what he was doing. You're goddamn Templar. How is it the same? Do you know how many enemies Templar has? How many psychos would love to claim the glory for murdering him? You think all of that will just go away because you're the new guy on the block? Wake the fuck up. I'm trembling all over now, my head feeling sluggish as I struggle to form words. He's wrong. This is something I've thought about. Why am I buckling under his verbal assault? You already called me Templar. Don't know why, but the lame reply forms on my lips before I have a chance to stop myself. Mnesis rolls his eyes. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have gone easy on you. The Baron had the right idea. For some reason, it's his last words that pierce through my brain like a lightning bolt, and with it, the anger that had been simmering spills over. No, he fucking didn't, and I don't need to justify my fucking decisions to you or him. I'm Templar now. End of discussion. Mnesis' expression changes, his gaze becomes chilling, and a whole different kind of shiver runs down my spine. That is scary. I stumble back, instinct prompting me to raise my fists in front of me. But then the moment is gone, the fox's eyes widening in surprise before he averts his gaze. I'm not going to attack you, Nick. Good, because you'd have to pry the bracelet off my cold dead wrist. He lets out a beleaguered sigh. I just don't get it. Why are you being so stubborn about this? Okay, there's so many things to choose. It's the right thing to do because I want to honor Templar. I promised Templar for the sake of the O'Connors. That is a lot of things to say. Okay, let's think about it. For the sake of the O'Connors, that doesn't sound like a deep reason. Because my connection to them isn't that deep. So it's the right thing to do because I want to honor Templar. I promised Templar. For me, the deepest reason here is promised Templar. Let's go with that and see what happens. It's simple. I gave a promise and I intend to keep it. You had no idea what you were promising. So, I learned it and I still want to go through with it. God fucking damn it. Fine, have it your way. I peer at him suspiciously, but it appears Mnesis has given up. Let's see what else he has to say for the others. It's kind of, you know, shallow. Let's see what he says, because... Oh, fine, let's just see what he wants to say for the sake of the O'Connors. Mrs. O'Connor seems so relieved. I'm not gonna take that away from her. Danny is straight. He knows what to do. That's not the point. Besides, I don't plan on sitting on my ass. I'll be ready for this shit. God fucking damn it. Oh, okay. So it goes to the same dialogue. So since we're exploring, might as well see the others. It's the right thing to do. If I gave up now, I knew I'd regret it for the rest of my life. I need to do this. Okay. Because I want to honor Templar. Templar did so much for this city. I can't let his bracelet just sit there. Danny didn't get it. I did it. Okay. So, for my personal choice, a promise seems like the more deeper thing. It's simple. I gave a promise and I intend to keep it. You had no idea what you were promising. So, I learned it and I still want to go through with it. God fucking damn it. Fine, have it your way. I peer at him suspiciously, but it appears Mnesis has given up. Then, we're done here. You can talk with Fang or the Baron about your training. What? You're my mentor. You still want that? Oh, for fuck's sake, Mnesis. If you don't want to have anything to do with me, just say so. That's not it. Then what is it? Another sigh from the fox. Nothing. Fine. We can arrange a time soon. Good. Okay. The ensuing uncomfortable silence stretches on as we both stand there, the conversation apparently concluded. So, you wanna grab a bite or something? I know a place nearby. Way to dissipate the tension. No. Ouch. Tea? Not in the fucking mood, Nick. I'm gonna finish my run. See you. Okay. See you soon. Without another word, the fox runs off, leaving me to stand alone by a bench, head still reeling from the argument we just had. That fucking sucked. God damn. As I shamble back to my dorm, my mood alternates between confusion and anger. Oh, there was an update. So Mnesis doesn't want me here. I had a feeling, given his hesitation to be my mentor, but man, this blows. He sounded so angry with me. But I'll show him what I can do fine. No matter what he says, I'm not backing out. I sure misread Mnesis. I mean, sure, he sorta tried to talk me out of becoming Templar, but I thought he had accepted my decision. So, back at the first encounter, maybe he was just being friendly, just so he can nicely push me out. Well, that sucks. Guess not. Hope this doesn't turn into a Christmas Carol situation. Don't need the other two knocking on my door to warn me away from a bad future. At least I can count on Unbound to stand with me on this. Well, alright, Vince too. Fuck. I meant it though. Not gonna entertain this topic again. If Mnesis has a problem, he can shove it. Not backing down now. I'm feeling a bit more calm by the time I'm back at my place. Lucas is sprawled on the couch, laptop resting on his belly, watching something in Spanish. How's it going? Has Julieta found love yet? She has, but her stepmother just hired a hitman to go after her. I roll my eyes at the absurd shit Lucas watches as I remove my sneakers. Wow, that's not good. Nah, it's fine. Pretty sure the dude's gonna be another suitor. The hitman? Yep. Sheesh. Hey, Mario may be a sweetheart, but Julieta needs some spice in her life, you know? Well, let me know how it goes, I guess. You could be watching it with me. Nope, gonna shower and then sleep. Huh? It's pretty early. Today fucking sucked. Damn, wanna talk about it? Nah. Oh, okay. I spend a little more time under the warm water than usual, head beginning to pound from the accumulated stress of the day. Well, it was sweet of Lucas to ask, but yeah, we can't say anything. I put on a fresh pair of underwear and shirt, then sit on my bed, listening to the muffled sounds of the soap opera from the common room. One would think I'd be exhausted by now, but no. Well, I am exhausted, but not sleepy at all. The glare from the screen of my phone is the only source of light in the room right now. Nothing from Mnesis. Well, that's not unexpected. Maybe I should message him. No, fuck that. I click on a dating app instead. So my mentor rejects me, so I'm gonna go hook up. Wow, that's a nice mentality to have. Maybe a quick hookup to lift my mood. My thoughts exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, no. Okay, yeah, that is very wise. That's a good decision. Don't make one bad decision after another. I turn off the screen and groan into my paw, then get up and open the door. You got something to help me sleep? Lucas pauses the video, giving me a concerned look. Should be something on my counter. I nod and head to his room. Luckily, he does indeed have some pills. What are these? Thanks. Back to bed. Aight, sleep tight. And let me know if you need anything, okay? Yeah, sure. Night. The pills kick in soon enough, at long last lulling me to sleep. Okay, so that was long. So I think that's a good stopping point. Save, go back to the main menu. Okay, so that was a roller coaster ride. Okay, we met with the family and the superhero team at the funeral. Getting blindsided, being told that, oh, thank you for saving our son from becoming a superhero, so you become a superhero instead, so my son doesn't have to die. That's my summary of it. And then, meeting someone from the government being all, you should join us, have a contract with us, even though we haven't had any training yet. Oh my gosh. And then the biggest twist of this episode was Mr. Friendly Guy wasn't friendly all along. He's trying to push us away and doesn't believe in us. That is so shocking. Well, maybe Mnesis is just trying to protect us, you know. But he hasn't even given us a chance first. I mean, you know, give give Nick a chance first. See what he can do first before saying that you're not cut out for this. No. Okay, so we'll see what's going to happen in the next episode. So if you guys like that, please leave me a like and maybe subscribe if you can. But if you can't or don't want to, that is okay. And I want you guys to take some time to appreciate something in your life today. And I will see you in the next Let's Read. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!